Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachaline Nivasesha Shunyavadi Pashtatara Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Yeah, and Brihad Bhagavatamrita is quite a conical or very important text for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. I think Prabhupada said that if anyone wants to learn what is love of Godhead, then they should read the Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Sanatana Goswami. And also, contemporarily speaking, many senior Vaishnavas, they really glorify Brihad Bhagavatamrita, especially uh, Niranjana Swami. He's always speaking on Brihad Bhagavatamrita during his sanghas with his disciples. And also my Guru Maharaj, Srila Shiva Ram Swami, he mentions it again and again and again. And actually his book, the Sankalpa Kaumudi, is inspired by the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. It's inspired by that because it it's speaking about different progression of Krishna consciousness. So that is the Sankalpa Kaumudi. So anyway, it's good to have a good understanding of it and a good grasp of it. So let's have a look where we left off last week. Um, I think you can see, no, you can't see yet. Can you see my screen? You just see a blank screen at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, now you can see.
Yeah, we can
I
see.
can see now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just come up. Okay, so let's just, without just repeating exactly what we spoke of last week, but let's just have a look. This is chapter 1, and you can see there, um, it's based on the question by Mother Uttara, where she's asking her son Parikshit to give the essence of what Sukadev has spoken. So that essence actually is all about Vrindavan. You could say the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. Then Narod's introduced, and he first meets a Brahmin in Prayag, and out of humility, then he is celebrated as a great devotee, but then he um, refers him to a southern king. So from just a Brahmin to a king whose kingdom is fully engaged in devotional service. And I think that's where it's described there that the kingdom there was always distributing prashadam. An unlimited amount of prashadam was being distributed, and that was the glories of that kingdom. And I remember when we was reading that, because sometimes we have issues here. Perhaps perhaps some of you are familiar with our Pajari department. Sometimes some cooks cook too much, and often as a head Pajari, I was always trying to control that or trying to manage that somehow. But actually, when I read this, then actually it's good as long as we distribute it all to the guest, because that's a sign of devotional opulence. If there's an ocean of prashadam being distributed from the temple, then that's glorious. I remember reading, coming to that conclusion. And then so then this southern king he refutes Nara's praise. Then he goes, and then we go to heaven. Then we go to the heaven. Then we go to the heavenly planets. Mavajambavati. Narada sees Vamana Dev and Indra. So Indra's the next person. Indra refers Narada to Brahma. Narada. Then there's a wonderful description of the Mahapurusha in Brahma Loka. Then Narada praises Brahma. Brahma refutes his praise and he directs Narada to Lord Shiva. We'll bring out some verses when we get to the point where we left last week. Um, then beyond the heavenly planets, going up to Shiva Loka. Yeah, so this is a good education in different planetary systems as well. So we leave the heavenly planets and we go beyond the material world. So don't forget, the heavenly planets is part of the material world. So then, to the first stop, the first station after Indraloka or Brahmaloka is Shiva Loka. Then Narada praises Shiva, and Shiva becomes angry. He has this aspect, anger, Rudra. He becomes angry, divine anger. And so Narada heaps praise upon Lord Shiva. Then Narada also praises Parvati. Then Lord Shiva refutes Narada's praise. Next, we go to Vaikuntha. No, we don't quite. Let me. Vaikuntha. Or Vaikuntha is mentioned. Yeah, Lord Shiva praises Vaikuntha. And then Parvati is praising the goddess of fortune. Then Narada wants to visit Vaikuntha. Now, that was an interesting part. But Shiva reminds Narada that Krishna is present on the earth, so there's no need for you to go to Vaikuntha. He's actually here, Boma Vrindavan. So Narada doesn't go. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like introduces Vaikuntha, but then Shiva advises Narada is there's you shouldn't go because Krishna's here. So in one sense, Vaikuntha is manifest here. And then Lord Shiva praises Prahlad. Uh, Narada visits Prahlad in Sutala Loka. Narada praises Prahlad. Then Prahlad refutes. There's quite an extensive Prahlad rule. Let's just have a look here. Prahlad refutes Narada's praise. Um, I'll read a few verses here. Be good to get you involved as well, do some reading as well. So perhaps let's read one or two verses here. Someone would like to read 15 and 16 so we can get an idea of what Prahlad is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can read. Text 15, yes.
Yeah, just the verses
Okay, yeah, the commentary. Yes.
first. Yeah.
Um, Shri Parikshit said, unable to tolerate hearing his own praise, Prahlad lowered his face in embarrassment, bowed down before Narad, and respectfully addressed him in a quiet voice. Commentary.
Just,
Prahlad. Sorry.
just the verses,
Okay. Yep.
16.
16. Sorry, I have to. 1 second. Yes. Sri Prahlad said, my Lord and spiritual master, please reconsider everything you have said. A young boy simply cannot understand correctly the signs of devotional service to Krishna.
Okay, just carry on reading the verses as
Yes. Still, when one receives instructions from great souls, those instructions have the power to awaken one's higher understanding, and then one can engage in devotional service to Lord Hari. Therefore, it is not a sign of greatness that ordinary persons like me can persevere despite terrible disturbances, give spiritual enlightenment to children, behave like saintly persons, show compassion to suffering souls, or refuse the boon of liberation.
all right. So what is the sign of greatness? Let's see what he says. Go on. 19.
Merely from these symptoms, the best of saints do not conclude that Krishna has given a person his mercy. Krishna's mercy, blessed Narada, appears only in a truly worthy servant.
Okay.
I have never performed any real service for the Lord, like Hanuman and others. I have only remembered the Lord sometimes when my mind was troubled.
Okay. So
That's me.
that's Prahlad as well. You've got something in common with Prahlad. So from a interesting, he brings this up because he has a point. You know,
Mm,
if you think of Hanuman, Hanuman directly served Lord Ram, but Prahlad was just in he was immersed in smaran,
mm,
and he remembered the Lord, but specifically in. But I think obviously he's speaking out of a natural Vaishnav humility. He was always absorbed in remembrance of the Lord, but here he's, and that's what Prahlad's known for. is when he was troubled by Kamsa, then he was absorbed in smaran of a Krishna. So he wasn't actually doing any service. You could say it's
Mm.
like Shantaras, you know. But Hanuman's engaged in Dasyaras. So that's a good thing to keep in mind as we're reading through this. Is the Sanatana Goswami is introducing the different rasas,
Mm.
going from one to the other. So he's going from here Shantaras to
Was like more physical. Hanuman did more physical
well more
service,
active. It's not just meditation.
active. Mm.
It's not just meditation. It's
Right.
actually active service.
Mm.
But Prahlad, we know he's more than an exalted devotee. He's a Mahabhagava, etc.
Yeah.
But you can see how Prahlad's not being theoretical here. I just did Smaran when I was in trouble. But Hanuman, he helped build, the bridge. He burnt down Lanka. He did.
Fancy that.
Yeah, he did service.
Mm.
Let's read a couple more. Go on, carry on.
Do you want me to carry on or
Yeah, why not?
something? You praise me because he caressed me and showed other signs of affection,
Yeah.
but some but some consider such affectionate behavior merely a false show of Maya, and others just display. Oh, sorry, Prabhu, my thing's gone.
No
I'm
problem.
so sorry. Yeah, my iPad just. Sorry, I'm
But
going to have to connect back to you on my phone. Sorry, the battery's gone. So sorry.
I just continue reading a couple of
Yes,
verses.
yes, sorry.
Okay, so you praised me because he caressed me and showed yes. So how did Lord Shingadev caress Prahlad?
Okay,
Anyone seen in the Shingadev film? He patted
stand
him
back.
on the head, huh? He was licking his head
Face.
and patting him on the head. So, but others consider such affectionate behavior merely a false show of Maya. All right. Others just a display of his pastimes. The Lord gives his mercy. The Lord truly gives his mercy, saintly authorities believe, when he grants the right to render various kinds of service, as in Hanuman, a blessing he gives to such devotees as Hanuman. Nothing else counts as his mercy. Let's read one more. There were. Furthermore, perhaps two more. Sriman Singha performed these pastimes not to favor me, but to protect the demigods, his devotees, and deliver his his eternal servants. He also wished to uphold the truth of the words of Brahma and of others, such as Brahma's sons, and fully display the greatness of devotional service. These were the only reasons for his pastime. So these are the reasons Prahlad is giving. He's now praising Hanuman. Now we've got to get back to where we just was. So please bear with me. Expand on table of contents. Yeah, it's a bit of. All right, so now we go to Hanuman. So now Hanuman's going to refuse Narad's praise. Can anyone say what way Hanuman might refute, sorry, not refuse, might refute Narad's praise, instead direct him to the Pandavas?
Mhm.
What is it that the Pandavas are doing in comparison to Hanuman, or why is it that the Pandavas might be seen as to be more intimate servants of the Lord than Hanuman?
Because they were always in distress and suffering for the right cause. Is that? No?
Yes, but no, I don't think so. Is
Mm.
anybody
Did,
else? Jamavati, Pushparadini, Anita. I think it will. Well, let's have a look. But I think it's because Krishna's living in the. He's living with the Pandavas. He's actually acting as their messenger. He's matching, he's their messenger, their servant. He helped to serve Yudhisthira Maharaj in the Rajasuya sacrifice, like their family member. He becomes like one of their family members. So Hanuman is directing Narad to the Pandavas, um, and he declines to go to Hastinapura. And he was like, why would, so then he's glorifying the Pandavas who are living in Hastinapura and that Krishna is actually present there. And so why doesn't Hanuman go if Krishna's present? I mean, would you go if you heard that Krishna was in Wood Green? Would you go to Wood Green?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Hanuman, he can go, but he declines to go. Why is he declined to go to see Krishna in Hastinapura, who's personally living with the Pandavas?
Mm.
Because he's serving Lord Ram, isn't it?
Oh,
He's attached to Lord Ram.
Preaching the glories of Ram.
Well, he's
He-
with Ram. He's actually serving. I think, yeah. Let's just have a look. Hanuman declines to go to Hastinapura. Okay, what now? So we'll ask him. So why are you declining to go, Hanuman? Okay. Um, what are you saying? Sometimes unseen in Ayodhya, he's not even in Vaikuntha. Get up, my friend. We should go there at once. Hanuman, the ocean of sobriety, then sighed for a moment, and after a brief time in thought, he bowed down to Narad and spoke. Okay, let's see his reasons for not going. Hanuman said, certainly it would be fitting for us to visit Dwarka to see the Pandavas and offer them service, for they are in all respects, okay, Dwarka, not Hastinapur. They are most dear to the personality of Godhead and his consort. But the Lord is now displaying uncommonly intense mercy and sweetness, more confidential than anything he has shown before. These wonderful, playful pastimes are so supremely enchanting that they bewilder even self-realized sages. So these human-like pastimes in Dwarka, also Hastinapura. Just see how your father Brahma, grandfather of the world, found that Vedic teachers was confused by the pastimes of Krishna. So what can be said about foolish forest monkeys like me? Right? So he's a foolish forest monkey. Because how strangely Krishna's pastimes unfold, I am afraid of committing offenses. Okay. Let the wonderfully varied pastimes of the Lord be the very life of his servants who think of nothing but him. For such devotees, those pastimes increase the ecstasy of love of God. I think what Hanuman's getting at here is because Hanuman he's engaged in servitude to Lord Ram, to Krishna, but in a mood of great awe and reverence. We hear that story where is it where Lord Ram goes to embrace Hanuman and Hanuman shies away? You heard that story? Something like that, because his mood is very awe and reverential to his Lord Ram. But Krishna is engaged in very, very like intimate pastimes with the Pandavas, like laying with Arjuna on the couch, engaging in, with Yudhisthira, describing, the politics and the events. And so it's very more intimate relationship. So that seems what he seems to be not comfortable with that. Although he's very appreciative of it, he's not comfortable with it. So let's just read this one here. Someone like to read this verse, 104? Anybody else out there? Any readers? Anita?
I'll read it if no one reads it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go for it.
Okay. Even so, I simply feel more attracted to the Supreme Lord in his eternal identity as Sri Raghunath, the son of Dasarath and joy of Mother Kaushalya. His heart always tender with natural, unaffected compassion. He is spontaneously attracted to loving exchanges with his devotees. exchanges free from any tinge of duplicity. He demonstrates how to follow properly the religious duties of a civilized people, and he upholds the strict vow of having only one wife. In the shyness of innate humility, his face always looks downward, his eyes fixed on the ground. His exalted character is pleasing to all. He stands with a bow in his hand, the king of kings, the hero of the city, Ayodhya. Served by Sita and Lakshman, and with Bharata as his older brother, he rules the race of monkeys as the dear friend of Sugriv, and gives shelter to Vibhishan. By my hearing of the pastimes of Krishna, the unlimited loving attraction I feel towards my own master has increased.
All right. So he's hearing about Krishna, but because his attachment is to Lord Ram, that increases his attachment to Lord Ram. It doesn't slacken it.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. So because that's his Lord he's hearing about in the form of Krishna, but his particular attachment remains even more so to Lord Ram. So therefore he wants to stay in that atmosphere rather than go into Dwarka or Hastinapura. Yeah, it's interesting. So here's an example. That's an example given of Ekanta Bhakti, where one is fixed on one's worship of deity. I think the example is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita of two personalities. One was Murari Gupta. Who was the other one? Where Lord Ram tried to persuade Murari, or was it Murari, from worshipping Lord Ram? He tried to persuade him to take up the worship of Radha and Krishna. Now, he didn't want to disobey the powerful instructions coming from Lord Chaitanya, and he tried to do so to instead focus on Radha Krishna, but he couldn't, and he felt ashamed for that. His heart was already given to Ram, and he couldn't follow Lord Chaitanya's instruction, so he was devastated, even to the point of thinking of committing suicide, I think.
Wow.
And he revealed his difficult position to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya was very happy. Said, yes, this is what being fixed on one's worshipful deity means, you know. And he said, yeah, you are Hanuman. That explained everything, you know. So it was a test. You could say it was a test. Sometimes the Lord tests his devotees. He tests their attachment. So he tested Murari Gupta, if I've got the story right, because there's two personalities. I can't think of the other one, who were attached to Lord Ram, even though Lord Chaitanya asked them to worship Radha Krishna. So sometimes the Lord tests his devotees to test their attachment, say to a particular service or in a particular relationship. You know? All right, any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. And we're gonna, let me go back quickly. Hopefully I'll get used to doing this, moving through here quite quick. Expanded table of contents. Okay, so now okay. Hanuman praises the Pandavas, especially Yudhisthira. Okay, so the Pandavas greet Narada. Narada praises Krishna and the Pandavas. So Hanuman sent Narada to the Pandavas. Yudhisthira refutes Narada's praise. Bhima refutes Narada's praise. Arjuna refutes Narada's praise. Nakul and Sahadev refute Narada's praise. Draupadi refutes Narada's praise. Kunti refutes it. And then he gets referred to Krishna's personal family, the Yadavas. Yeah. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. So perhaps we won't look at each one of these refutations. Which one should we have a look at? Yudhisthira's refutation, Bhima.
Arjun refutes.
Okay. So let's see what Arjuna says. Yeah, I have a read here. Sri Parikshit said, then, dear mother, my grandfather Sriman Arjuna, the intimate friend of Krishna, dejectedly spoke, sighing again and again. So interesting. How is he going to refute this? Blessed Arjuna said, O godly Narada, the great mercy of your beloved Lord, supposedly bestowed upon us, has in fact become a cause of our sorrow. Swayed by dry speculation, concerned only with their own dharma, Bhishma and others on the field of war fiercely attacked Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, that's a good point. Okay, they attacked Krishna. But the Pandavas attacked Krishna. Bhishma is one of the Pandavas. Piercing his armor and flesh, Lord Krishna, the wielder of the Sudarshan Chakra, tolerated for my sake those repeated attacks on his divine body, although I tried to stop him. Even today, O Brahmana, as I remember those incidents, I cannot remove the arrow of grief from my heart. How then can I feel any happiness? Yeah, so Arjuna tried to stop Krishna. So acts that bring pain to a dear one are not the sign of compassion or love. When I refused to kill Bhishma, Drona, and others, Krishna, the best of wise scholars, taught me something to induce me to go ahead and kill them. That something was Bhagavad Gita, okay? Hearing only the literal meaning of what Krishna taught me, hearing only the literal meaning of what Krishna taught may please dry scholars, but to us whose life and soul lies in glorifying pure devotional service, those instructions by the law give great pain. Now, I don't understand that. Let's read this commentary. The Upanishads convey the essence of Vedic knowledge, and Srimad Bhagavad Gita conveys the essence of the Upanishads. Various exalted sages become the receivers or rishis of each of the Upanishads, but Bhagavan Sri Krishna chose to speak his own Gita directly to his friend and devotee Arjuna. Because Arjuna is too humble to think himself great and is disappointed by Krishna's having left the Pandavas. All right, okay, that's the guess. Okay, Krishna was there, but at one point he left, isn't it? He left, and that's when Queen Kunti's prayers are offered. He actually leaves Hastinapura.
Oh, that was after the war.
Yeah, so at some point he leaves. So this is the point he's making, probably the other Pandavas as well. Yeah, okay, so great, Krishna, but where is he now? You know, if we're so intimate servants, Krishna's left us. Gone. Yeah. So because Arjuna is too humble to think himself great and is disappointed by Krishna's having left the Pandavas, he does not consider himself a favored devotee of Krishna's. Therefore, he tries to deny the transcendental value. All right. That's why here he's just, so we shouldn't take these words literally.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds a bit controversial.
Yeah, it's just his love. It's just his love. Sometimes devotees speak this way. Gopis, sometimes they
Chastise.
they chastise Krishna and all types of things they have to say about Krishna, but it's all a symptom of their love. So same here. Arjuna, he tries to deny the transcendental value of the Gita. This is only a ploy, however, to distract Narada. Arjuna's argument here is not valid. Okay, good job we read the commentary.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense now.
Yeah, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches pure devotional service, and he chose to speak it to Arjuna because Arjuna is one of his purest devotees. Okay, so Sanatana Goswami is refuting the words of Arjuna. All right, so I've got the essence there. Let's So where are we going next in this transcendental adventure? Let's. We're going to the Krishna's personal family, isn't it?
Yadavas.
The Yadavas. So Narada sees the Yadavas in Dwarka. Okay, we'll just get to the refutations. Yeah, Narada praises the Yadavas, but the Yadavas they're going to they're directed to Uddhava. So Uddhava next. Let's okay, let's just, should we have a little look at that? The Yadava
Yes,
direct narrator to Uddhava. Okay, let's, um, so they say,
Krishna's cousin, wasn't it, Uddhava?
yeah. You like to read these verses here, Bob? You can read from 116.
Yes, I can do.
Bhagavatam. Yeah.
But, uh, but, but among us, blessed Uddhava has received Krishna's greatest mercy. That exalted soul is Lord Yadavendra's advisor, his disciple, his servant, and his extremely dear friend.
Yeah. So that we all know, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, perhaps read 117 and 118.
Sorry, I think part of
Sorry,
the
sorry.
117 is on the first line. Sometimes the Lord abandons us to go on a journey. This gives us such distress that even when we see him again, the pain does not go away. We cannot be sure when he might go somewhere else, but Uddhava is always by his side, serving Lord Krishna, his master, and residing with him. Sometimes the Lord, the personality of Godhead, sends Uddhava on missions on which the Lord himself should go. For example, the Lord sent him to gain the release of Samba, whom the Kauravas had taken captive. Uddhava stays alone with Krishna when the Lord playfully enjoys his meals, so he is the only person who can always obtain the Lord's Mahaprasad remnants.
All right.
Lucky Uddhava.
Yeah, so of all the Yadavas, I think Uddhava's a Yadava, I guess, yes.
Yes.
So they're directing specifically to Uddhava. Now,
Mm.
is he his intimate relationship with Krishna. So this is all Dasyaras, but very, so there's different levels of Dasyaras, so it's getting more intimate.
Mm.
There's a because there's Dasyaras, say Hanuman and Uddhava, uh, but then there's Dasyaras also with there's Dasyaras with Arjuna,
Mhm.
Dasyaras Uddhava, but Uddhava's Dasyaras is a bit more intimate than Hanuman.
Mm.
And then ultimately you got the Dasyaras, which is free from all awe and reverence. And that's the cowherd boys and the residents of Vrindavan.
Mm.
That's the highest form of Dasyaras, free from all awe and reverence.
Was Uddhava more closer to Krishna than even Arjun?
Good question.
Because, we always kind of believe that Arjun was his greatest friend, devotee. Um, you know, so, I mean, Uddhava is very close to, I mean, he's his cousin, and Uddhava, I think, even looked like Krishna, and
Yeah, he dressed like Krishna as well.
dressed like Krishna, yeah. So I was just wondering, is
That's a
any favoritism there?
that's a good question. Perhaps our learned assembly. Who's the most what Arjuna or Uddhava?
Mm.
Closest to Krishna? Who has the most intimate or relationship?
Because if you just read the Bhagavad Gita, you would think Arjun, was, the closest to Krishna. But when you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, then Uddhava is also very, very close, and even closer, I think, from
Yeah,
some.
yes. Specifically, it's because we can conclude because Sanat Goswami is given his hierarchy. So just on that basis, we can understand Uddhava is more
Mm.
intimate associate, but exactly how is interesting. One of the reasons that he played a very vital role in a message to the gopis and the residents of Vrindavan. It was
Mm.
Uddhava who
Yeah,
carried that message. It
from
wasn't
Krishna.
Arjuna. Yeah, he carried that message from Krishna to the residents of Vrindavan.
Yeah.
So in that sense,
And
you can
yeah, and he also told Uddhava that he was leaving this world.
yes,
He told him his plan that my time is come now. So I guess that's really intimate.
yeah. Everyone else had left at that point. The only one more or less left out of all the Yadavas and the Pandavas was Uddhava.
Yeah.
And he was given a specific mission to take what he had seen in Raj Bhakti, and that spontaneous love. He was given a mission to share that with the great sages, this spontaneous love, the resonance of Vrindavan. So I think, yeah, now we can understand more clearly. That's why Uddhavas is coming,
Mm.
one sense, higher up the rung, if we want to put it like that,
Yeah.
than Arjuna. So, okay, we've got the essence of that. So who's next after Uddhava? Where is Uddhava's going to refute these arguments, and he's going to send Narad to someone else. Before I bring up the page, who is that someone else?
Oh. Mm.
Uh, Good, isn't it? You've got to try and remember all the Lord's servants. Let's see.
Yeah. That'd be
Uddhava.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, now we go to the Rajrasis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because
Obvious.
that's going to be an obvious response by Uddhava, because he personally, because Arjuna didn't, nor did the Pandavas, but Uddhava personally saw and met the Rajrasis.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
can understand he's easily going to, speak of himself as nothing in comparison to the Rajrasis. Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
And then there's this part of it gets into a whole discussion actually, because now Sanat Goswami is introducing Vrindavan. And let's see the titles here, if we can remember. So Rohini, yeah, blames Krishna for the conditions of Raj.
Oh,
Rohini defends Krishna. Satyabhama, yeah, there's a whole discussion amongst all these ladies.
wow. Yeah.
Rohini and Satyabhama, they're discussing Raj Bhakti and
Oh.
what's going on there, and Krishna being the cause. They have this. Let's just have a peek into that. Cannot resist. Okay. Rohini blames Krishna. Okay. Uddhava praises the Rajvasis. Yeah, we can understand that. That's natural. But so what is she blaming Krishna for? For the conditions? Um, Rohini said, alas, dear servant of Sri Hari, the residents of Raj have by evil fate been all but slain. Hmm. They have lost the last trace of good fortune and are drowning in an ocean of gloom. There they suffer poison scorched in the flames of an underwater fire. So please do not destroy my moment of happiness by reminding me of them. Okay, so I guess she's speaking about the feelings of separation of
Yeah.
Vrindavan. And let's read on. When Sri Vasudev brought me back from Gokula, the cries of the greatly distraught Yasoda made even stones shed tears and lightning bolts shatter. And who can let the mouth speak about the other women of Raj, who, after Krishna left, became like living corpses? Well, quite a graphical description, isn't it? But I am not very intelligent. After your Lord returned from the house of his spiritual master, my sadness drove me to tell him briefly how the Rajrasis were faring. So after he was taught by Sandipani Muni, yeah, she explains to him the condition of the Rajrasis. Okay, so um, go on to 35. My own experience is this: when Krishna lived in Braj, so many calamities threatened to destroy it. Braj was disturbed by demons from Putana to Keshi, by demigods like Varuna and Indra, by creatures like the Python. Here comes Mother Gayatri. Okay. Demons like the Python, and by the falling of familiar things at Krishna's house, like the cart and Arjuna trees. But to these dangers, the residents paid no regard. So, all right. So,
Mm.
who's this speaking again? In quite a, she's quite a, this is Rohini. So this is
Rohini.
her mood. This is her mood. So let's try and the mood of the other ladies that's been mentioned here. What have they got to say? So she's carrying on here, describing about the situation in Vraj. Even here is a strong words here. Even then, your Lord did nothing to help them. That Krishna did nothing to help them. And who could bear to hear me say what he has been doing now to accomplish the goals of his other devotees?
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, this is an intro. I can remember this as well. So around happens to be living with them is the mother of Kamsa.
Yeah.
So what's she thinking about Krishna? You know,
I
there's all
know.
the ladies all gathered together having a good round. So this is Padmavati. Upon hearing this, the mother of the wicked comes and spoke out. So head shaking. So she's old, elderly. What's she got to say about Krishna? Just see, since childhood, our Krishna has stayed in the forest full of thorns to guard the cows of those merciless cowherds. They never, yeah, I remember this. This is the way she sees things, you know.
Mm.
It's amazing how, if there's some envy there, or you can see one thing, you can see something in a specific way, you're going to see it negatively. So she's everything negatively.
Mm. Mm.
So she's okay, Krishna's great, but she's now got words to say about the Radrashis. And this is what she says. They never even gave him shoes. Let's see. They never gave him shoes. And when he was tormented by hunger, he sometimes ate a little stuff made from the milk the cowherd women punished him by tying him up.
Oh.
Yeah, so, rather than a big feast of, samosas and gulab jamans, all he got fed was some milk, some butter, and he got tied up. Did you hear how they tied him up? Yeah, Mother
Yeah.
Yasoda tied him up.
I think she's speaking as what she's seeing rather than, as like the pastime. This is Krishna, it's Krishna's. He had so much immense joy in all those pastimes, eating the milk and being tied up. That was all Krishna's doing, but she's not seeing it that way.
Yeah,
She's
she's
seeing
not seeing it that way.
there's a bit of envy, isn't there?
Right, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of she sounds like she appreciates Krishna. It looks like,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
she's got a few words about her anger, or is coming out against the Vajrashis. You know,
yeah.
like here, because he was young, he had no choice but to tolerate all this pain. But what does he have to do for those people now? Right, then Rohini, she's kind of comes along. Rohini, yeah. So she ignores Padmavati's remarks. So it sounds like it's quite an interesting conversation. So Padmavati is just speaking out. She's an old lady. She's hearing the discussion. As some conversations happen, if someone gets fight, she gets a bit passionate. What did the residents do to Vrindavan? Look what they did to Krishna. Just gave him a little bit of butter to eat. They tied him up. Didn't even give him shoes to wear. And then Rohini just ignoring her, ignoring this old lady's remarks, and she just carries on speaking. All right, so she's carrying on speaking. Uh, it take it's tempting to read the whole thing again, but we're trying to just get the essence. So
Mm.
Rohini's speaking, trying to get the next one speaking. What's she speaking? Let's read another verse here. Um, okay, yeah, this one here. Sometimes at night, oh, here. Text 52. While asleep, he sometimes says, Mother, give me some fresh butter. Sometimes he calls out to me, Oh, Shri Radha, oh, Lalita. Sometimes he pulls on my garment and asks me, Chandravali, what are you doing? Sometimes he drenches the pillow of his bed with a flood of tears.
Oh.
So, just speaking about obviously. Raj. Then at times he suddenly wakes, oh, Krishna's attachment to Raj, rises up, rises from bed, and cries in a pitiable voice, drowning us in the ocean of pain and grief. Now Satyabhama speaks, 55, surrounded by others' wives, answered back in jealous anger. This is Satyabhama. Dear Rukmini, why are you prattling on like this? Prattling, that's the word that is used. That means, what are you going on? Why talk only about what he does while asleep? Even while active and awake, he seems to have his mind on something else, as if dreaming. Indeed, we are his wives only in name. His young cowherd maidservants are in fact more dear to him than we are. Okay. So then Baladev speaks. Anyway, this conversation goes on, between the household there in yeah, where are we? We're in the Yadava's household. Is that right? That's where we are?
Mm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so they're discussing Krishna Katha. See, this is Krishna Katha. This they're just speaking about Krishna. And what they're speaking is based on their Pacific relationship. So they're looking at the Krishna from different wonderful angles of vision. Well, let's have a look where that's taken us. So expanded table of contents. Um, okay. Okay. Satyabhama confirms Krishna's anxiety. So, yeah, Krishna's anxiety for the residents of Raj, he's missing them. Um, Balaram blames Krishna for not returning to Raj.
Oh.
Yeah. And Krishna asks Uddhava's advice. Yeah. Devaki and Padmavati advise Krishna. Uddhava advises Krishna to return to Raj. Padmavati and Rohini quarrel. Having disagreement. So don't forget, Padmavati is the old lady. She's the mother of Kamsa. So she's having an argument with Rohini. Let's have a look at that argument, shall we? There's a couple of verses, that argument. Sri Uddhava said, okay, the befuddled mother of Kamsa, that's Padmavati, laughed at this. What should he laugh at? Let's go back. Oh, master, please turn your attention to this. Unless your two lotus feet make a blessed journey to Raj, there is no way to assure that your people of Raj will survive. Okay, so just remember that Padmavati hasn't got anything good to say about the residents of Vrindavan. Yeah, they didn't give him shoes even. Can you imagine that?
No.
If your kid had to go to school without shoes. So, as far as she's concerned, the Rajradis have got it in for Krishna, and they don't. Yeah, so the befuddled mother of Kamsa laughed at this, shook her head, and burst out, "Aha, aha, foolish Devaki! Now I understand. I understand everything. With the help of your Uddhava, whom the cowherds have long controlled by gifts and milk goods, those cowards want to bring Krishna back to the forest, the dense, dark forest, from in that dangerous forest, hard to travel, full of thorns and vicious beasts. Those good for nothings want to make him tend their cows." That's how she sees it. Like when the cowherd girls are imploring Krishna to come back when they meet at the when they meet at the eclipse. As far as she's concerned, they're doing something horrible. Back to the forest, just fawns, and the only reason they want him back is so that he can herd the cows. So they're having a good argument. Um, yeah, so they're having. Let's go back. Um, okay, okay, expanded table of contents. What's the time? 9 minutes.
Five.
Okay, so So that's Padmavati and Mohini having a quarrel. Okay. Balaram appeals to Krishna to save Raj. Okay.
Mm.
So that means to go back to Raj. He's appealing to Krishna to save Raj by going back to Raj. So the next part is 7, the last part of this first volume. So you can Brahma arranges for Krishna's relief. Krishna is brought to Nava Vrindavan. Okay. Krishna. Okay, so yeah. Anyone can any insight what this is about? Brahma arranges for Krishna's relief and Krishna is brought to Nava Vrindavan.
Mm. No. Krishna's relief.
Yeah.
That's
But what actually happens, because Krishna cannot be in any way, he cannot be pacified. He's so distraught with the ecstasy of separation from Raj.
mm.
The others, they're trying to think of what to do. So Brahma creates a Vrindavan. This is Nava Vrindavan. He creates a facsimile of Vrindavan, complete with Govardhan Hill, complete with complete with artificial but real Jamuna, complete with Kadamba trees, complete with forests, complete with peacocks, you know. And there's a
Like the eco village.
yeah, this is Nava Vrindavan. We won't have time to, but there's a wonderful book called the Lalita Mahadeva, which describes the wonderful pastimes that go on when Krishna. But yeah, we won't have time to get into that here.
Where does he create this new Vrindavan? In Dwarka?
Yeah, in
Ah,
Dwarka, it's part of Dwarka, and it's
There's
supposed,
nothing.
but
ah.
there's different accounts that this Krishna was not often go there because
Washing machine stops. Ito ralay le हमने.
it would cause him too much grief because the
Mm.
memory was so strong when he would visit his new Vrindavan. So
Right.
Krishna seems they bring Krishna to this Nava Vrindavan. Let's just have a
Ah.
this. Then we got okay. Krishna speaks to Nanda and Yasoda. Is this the real Nanda Yasoda or is it a
Mm.
Krishna? So this is a artificial, in one sense, new Vrindavan created by Lord Brahma to help to pacify the Prince Krishna, who's feeling so much separation. Yeah. So he's being brought there by Balaram. So upon arriving at Nava Vrindavan, Garuda and Balaram gently place Krishna on the bed. The Gopas and Gopis of Nava Vrindavan stood around him as if they were Krishna's real cowherd men and women. So these are not real cowherd men and women. These
Ah.
are creations of Lord Brahma. See, they're trying to pacify their Lord. Uddhava came there with Devaki, who dearly loved her son, and also with Rukmini, Satyabhama, and other queens, and Padmavati. They simply couldn't leave Krishna in such a state. So at Brahma's request, they hid themselves. So they're all hiding away in the trees and bushes and looking at what's going to happen. So they hid themselves and took up positions where they could still see Krishna.
Mm.
Narada, thinking he had committed an offense, did not accompany the demigods and the Yadavas. Instead, with great curiosity, he hid himself in the mists of the sky. So what is that offense he think he committed? Ah. It was Narada who had made Krishna so unsettled by mentioning, okay, so Krishna, Narada was started speaking about the residents of Vrindavan, and then Krishna lost it. He became completely mad in in remembrance of the residents from Darwin. So he's thinking he's committing an offense.
Mm.
So Garuda position, so Narada's in the sky. Garuda positioned himself even higher than Narada. So Krishna's laying there. um, Krishna's brother come back almost to normal consciousness. That best of discerning thinkers understood the entire situation. Okay, until Krishna recovered from his confusion. So Krishna's completely delirious. He doesn't know whether it's day or night. He's completely delirious in love for the residents of Vrindavan. So this is a big anxiety for, I remember now. They're all in so because Krishna just faints away. And discussing what to do, what to do, what to do.
Quiet. He doesn't say anything.
Quiet. Don't say anything. So you have to mute.
I don't really care.
Nita, you have to mute if you can. Okay. After a few minutes, Krishna's brother came. We read that. So what to do? What to do? So they create new Vrindavan. They create another Vrindavan. Yeah, that will pacify him, surely. All right. Okay. Sorry, going back. Sorry, I'm making you dizzy by going back. Balaram quickly cleansed his own lotus face and that of his younger brother. So he's splashing water on Krishna's face to try and revive him. Then he gently placed a flute. So remember, Krishna's in Dwarka. He hasn't got a flute. He's kind of fainted away. So they've carried him to this new Vrindavan. And now they've set the whole thing up. So
confuse him even more.
yeah, he's gonna, place the flute gently in the waist. So like when he wakes up, he's gonna be there. A buffalo horn and a stick in Krishna's hand, a garland of kadamba flowers, a peacock feather. He gives him the whole, they give him the whole Vraj dress. Thus, having arranged a forest outfit for Krishna with items made by Vishwakarma, Balaram, with some effort, lifted Krishna and spoke to him loudly. So he's trying to revive him. Shri Krishna, Krishna, my dear brother, get up, get up. Wake up from your sleep. Just see, it's now getting late. The cows have already entered the forest. So, Sri Daman, your other friends are here waiting for you, and your parents are so filled with love they cannot even speak to you. So remember, Krishna's in Dwarka. He's in this make-believe Vrindavan. So the gopis are watching your lotus face and laughing as they whisper something in one another's ears. Parikshit said. So again, Parikshit speaking to his mother. His mother must be very excited about this. She's hearing all this. Uttara. Parikshit said, in this way, Balaram filled the scene with talk. He called Krishna by his various names, caressed him, dragged him around in his arms. So he dragged them around in his arms until Krishna finally got up and came back to some sort of consciousness. That would be a great relief for everyone. Krishna uttered the words, Shiva, Shiva, and suddenly stood up. A look of surprise on his, so what's he seeing? He's not in a palace anymore. He's fainted away because of a swoon of remembrance of the resident Vrindavan. Now he's been placed in his facsimile Vrindavan. Now he's opening his eyes. So don't forget, they're all watching. Everyone's watching what's Krishna's reaction going to be. Padmavati and all the ladies, Narad's up there and Garuda's up there, they're all watching. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? So Krishna opened his lotus eyes, smiled, and quickly looked around. Seeing Nanda in front of him, he felt embarrassed and bowed down to him. Okay. 701. We'll just read this little commentary here. And we'll leave it on a cliffhanger, okay? So next week we can. Commentary. Krishna first laughed at himself for having slept so long, but when he saw his father waiting for him, he felt ashamed. He bowed down because he had been taught to always offer respect to his father immediately after waking. Okay. So let's join it next week, okay? Join us next week. We'll continue for this little synopsis of Bhagavatamrta, okay? I think it's quite good, isn't it, going through this? We get reminded of the storyline.
Yeah, it's so involved, it's so intense.
Yes.
Yeah, lovely.
You know what it make it smell that bad? It's not your clothes. It's my black house.
You better stop here. This is a bit of a thing.
Anita, we can hear you.
Clothes need washing. We just heard. Okay. Thank you everyone for kind attention.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you,
His
Prabhu.
graceful Manor Prabhu
Prabhu
ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Vrindavan ki jai, Nava Vrindavan ki jai. Krishna.
Jai, Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.